First class Logan Tobias is from Long Island, New York. His parents are Ira Tobias and Colleen Tobias, and he was raised with his older brother, Blake. He is a government major with a concentration in security studies. During his senior year, first class Tobias was captain of the men's lacrosse team. He also served on the Cadet Honor Board during the fall and spring semesters, assisting in the promotion and maintenance of high standards of conduct within the Corps of Cadets. Upon graduation, first class Tobias will depart to Honolulu, Hawaii, and report as a deck watch officer on board the Coast Guard cutter Midget. It is my pleasure to introduce the distinguished graduate of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, class of 2022, Cadet First Class Logan Tobias. I didn't mention he was on that too.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Vice President, Secretary Mayorkas, Admiral Schultz, Admiral Kelly, Provost Donahue, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, family and friends, and the great class of 2022. Thank you for joining us to celebrate this incredible achievement. I am humbled and honored to speak before you today. Fortune favors the brave. 2022's motto was chosen by our class during our fourth class year. And at that time, its meaning to us and to most people who hear it today was simple. Take chances. Embrace risk. Put yourself out there and enjoy success as a reward for your courage. Now, for the Romans who invented this phrase, this was not merely an inspirational saying, but a universal truth. Julius Caesar, whom we know is controversial, upon crossing the Rubicon River to begin his march into Rome, famously uttered, "The die is cast," highlighting the risk associated with his decision in the hopes that the goddess of luck, Fortuna, would deliver him to victory. And judging by his military success, it appears fortune did favor the brave that day. However, the academy and the real world are a bit more nuanced than that mythical tale. Fortune does not always favor risk takers, right? I mean, if it did, during second class year, more of us would have parked our unauthorized cars down the hill behind the gas station. No. From our lived cadet experience, we know all too well that sometimes you put yourself out there and fall short of your goal. You fail an exam. You don't get a command position. You get injured on the athletic field. Or you get a Class 2 conduct offense, also for parking, the morning of dining in. However, our class has demonstrated that if we are perpetually brave in the wake of failure, doggedly persistent in embracing risk, determined never to give up, we continually close the gap between ourselves and success. From our unique academy experience, we had to learn and then believe that fortune may not always favor the one-time brave, but certainly those brave enough and gritty enough to try again and again. For instance, first class Abby McGuire, captain of the women's soccer team, tore her ACL her fourth class year. After healing, she was brave enough to take the field again this past fall, but unfortunately tore her other ACL, jeopardizing her commission. Determinedly, she rehabilitated her knee for the second time and was just cleared for graduation. Yeah. Bravo Zulu, Abby. Your resilience, as does ours, pays off today. Also, first class Matt Flynn was rejected upon first applying to the academy in 2016. He did not fear failure, as he was courageous enough to apply again. He put himself through prep school, reapplied, was waitlisted, and then earned a spot, but at another prep school. Finally, he made it to the academy in 2018. Matt, you persisted through setbacks, and fortune is finally smiling on you as an example to us all in the class of 2022. Just this past week, I sent out an informal survey that revealed our class identifies grit as our quintessential formative trait. Defined by psychologist Angela Duckworth, grit is demonstrated passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Essentially, that means being brave enough to withstand obstacles and failure in pursuit of your dream, your fortune. I mean, by that definition, come on. We present the ideal grit case study. Each of us persevered through 3 a.m. nights in McAllister Hall or the library working on capstone projects, room and uniform inspections, drill, 0700 morning trainings, drill, midweek away games, and did I mention drill? However, while it is within ourselves to rise or fall, we have experienced challenging circumstances out of our control that drove us to new levels of grit, of bravery, thus making this motto uniquely our own. During our 4th class year, we experienced the longest government shutdown in our nation's history. In an admirable display of perseverance, my shipmates and I helped distribute food to the greater Coast Guard community from the food pantry in Leamy Hall. We did this atop our normal 4th class responsibilities. The class of 2022 alternated shifts in the pantry for weeks, supporting fellow service members until the situation was resolved. This event truly introduced us to military life, and presented with the partial failure of our beautiful, imperfect system, we answered the call and forged on. In the spring of our 3rd class year, we, along with the rest of the world, were abruptly sent back to our homes as we began to navigate COVID-19. We enthusiastically resumed our studies and training virtually from the floors of our childhood bedrooms because our parents needed the desks to work. From our cars, as we parked outside public libraries because the internet connection in our homes was too weak. And providing support for our scattered shipmates through Zoom, social media, and other innovative ways. We even successfully took our golf and tennis classes virtually. Although, judging from my performance this past Monday, the effectiveness of my virtual golf experience is questionable, but that's certainly a me problem. Regardless, we pioneered a new learning environment from the academy, and we were headed to the fleet on schedule. During 2nd class year, uncertain about the future, uninformed regarding mysterious virus, and deeply concerned about our families and loved ones, we ventured back to the academy that summer to assume our role as cadre. And you all remember the logistical nightmare of moving hundreds of swabs throughout campus while avoiding cross-contamination. That was formidable. In our new role as leaders, we failed many times and faced the consequences of it. But as our swabs just took their cadre oath last week, we eventually identified best practices and overcame those unprecedented challenges. At every step along this journey, at one time or another, we, the brave men and women of the class of 2022, have been met with adversity, but proved to be remarkably resilient and accomplished the many things we set out to do when we reported in 4 years ago. On many occasions, our fortune even paved the way for unbelievable fun. Castle dance at the Rosecliff Mansion in Newport, all-important billet night, and commencement ball this past week are all fruitful rewards for never giving up on this risk-riddled journey. Undoubtedly, our collective grit throughout the 4-year practicum paid off. First Class Shellman and First Class Von Brock both earned first place in Lockheed Martin's ethics and engineering case competition. Of note, I am speaking today because my class ranking number was .993 of a point higher than First Class Von Brock's to earn the title Distinguished Graduate, which, for the record, is an absurdly small difference. Tight groupings of high performance like that pervade the entire class and speak to the drive of this group before you. The men's hockey team made the national tournament for only the 2nd time in history. First Class California Hargrove, First Class Vivine Ishimwe, and First Class Taryn Johnson were honored with Black Engineer of the Year awards. And First Class Abigail Valadez won the National Latina Style Award. The affinity councils related to various personal identities under our leadership organized countless events and speakers, making the Academy a more inclusive and thereby a mission-ready environment. And in a league of his own, in the weeks leading up to this celebration, First Class Anton Konuchenko my first roommate, managed to complete this rigorous practicum while anxiously monitoring the invasion of his home country, Ukraine. Continue to be brave, Anton. Fortune will favor you soon enough. So as we prepare to commission here today, understand that for us, the die is cast. We know not what opportunities we'll be presented with or risks we will take. But remember, on your cutter or in the cockpit, ashore and in cyberspace, or back in your home countries, fortune may not always, but eventually will, favor the brave. So go 2022, go Bears, go anywhere. But understand, wherever your destination is, no matter what, just keep going. Thank you. It is now my privilege to introduce the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Carl L. Schultz.
Good morning, Madam Vice President, Speaker Secretary Mayorkas, Governor Lamont, our senior faculty members and staff, parents, brothers, sisters, members of the great class of 2022. I am thrilled to be here for your graduation and commissioning today into the United States Coast Guard. You know, 4 years ago, each of you arrived here in New London. You donned your first Coast Guard uniforms and made a commitment to our Coast Guard and to serve your nation. A few short weeks before your arrival, I had the privilege of assuming my duties as the 26th Commandant on 1 June. And we started these 4 years together. Yours was a 200-week transition from young men and women from America's streets and schools, maybe some from prep schools, into the United States Armed Forces. Here at the Academy, where the mission is simple, to graduate leaders of character and service-ready ensigns. Here we stand together, and I salute your resolve. As we all know, this class here before us, and we heard Logan artfully talk about it, you have weathered the storm. You've stayed the course, you have been tested, and you have prevailed. Your 4-year Academy experience was unlike any other. In normal times, cadets experience, it's taxing. Cadets balance a rigorous academic program. They participate in Division III or intramural sports and athletics, and they develop and hone their military bearing to serve in the armed forces. The pace of this place, of that 200-week program, is frenetic. The challenge, deliberate. And like the Academy classes before us, the class of 2022, you rose to meet the challenges. But your 200-week journey brought more.